Hello, I'm making this video to discuss something I've recently found out involving a group of Minecraft server hackers. The hackers I'm talking about being a group of people named the Fifth Column. To give you some backstory into what's publicly known about the Fifth Column, who I will often refer to as the Fifth or 5C. The Fifth Column are a group of people who are known for griefing player bases on the Minecraft server 2b2t. They're also known for using a program called Copenhagen to find the server IPs of Minecraft streamers who don't have their whitelist on, and use fly hacks to find and kill the streamer and any friends they have on as well. In fact, one of these victims of the grave attacks was Jeb, who was the lead developer of Minecraft. Their most recognisable player name goes by Bezopasson, who is usually the person you'll see when you're being attacked. According to 2b2t Wiki, the Fifth had initially started off with the means of fighting for children's safety online, but somewhere along the way decided to start hurting children instead. Now, with the basic summary out of the way, I'd like to talk about some of the victims that the Fifth have previously griefed. As you can see, the Fifth have absolutely zero respect to the people they decide to grief, whether it be elderly gamers and allegedly fake feminists, VTubers and furries. And while I've had my bit of making a furry joke video, it wouldn't top up to something like this. One thing about the Fifth is that they tend to attack the smaller streamers rather than the bigger creators like Tommy and Tobo and so on. Now I turn to tell you about the more serious topic I had mentioned in the community post. On the surface, the Fifth Column look like some scummy Minecraft griefers, but I've recently found some information that they are way worse than what meets the eye. The Fifth often fail to join the servers they find in Copenhagen and instead try to DDoS the server, shutting it down while the streamers and their members are playing. They will even send the streamer's stream link to their Discord in order to get people spamming on stream. Besides that, they will also do much more to the streamer than just griefing their server. To give you info on what exactly these people do, I will show you written evidence from the victims of the Fifth's griefing attacks, as well as some interviews I've gotten from these victims. The order I'll be showing these incidents in will be from least to worst. One of the things the Fifth like to do to their targets, other than griefing their server and advertising their Discord in the chat and game, is visit the target's Discord. Besides maybe sending regular spam, the Fifth also send NSFW links to the server chats, so not only are they advertising disgusting links, but they're also advertising these links to server members that most likely include minors. If they had a bit of common sense and thought about what exactly they are doing, they would not be doing stuff like this. But they are not sensible in the slightest and do not care about the other members in the server. As long as they are able to make clips out the streamer by tormenting them and enraging their community, that's what they're willing to go for. Bringing back what I said earlier, the Fifth have targeted elders and more, but they are usually aiming to harass these kind of communities of people. Here I have a quote from a victim who had their server DDoS by the Fifth. The text may be hard to understand, but I'll read it out as a more punctuated version so you can have an easier time listening. Well, basically I was playing on my friend's server, the world crashed and they started hate-rating my stream in Discord. Then they accused me of random BS. At the time I didn't react well, but I did end stream. Then my Discord server had so many people in it that me and my mods banned all of them. I started to ignore them and give no reaction every time they showed up before they eventually left. I haven't seen them since. I gave a really bad reaction. They also grab things out of context and have a community of single-celled organisms. Reason being that everyone in it are just dumb trolls who want to ruin people's day. Their goal is total BS, as they seem to target LGBTQ and furries more than others, but they also target people with mental illnesses, which is sick. They are a gross and immature group of individuals. They also came back a different day, doxing my real life name and their usernames. I'll be summarising everything after each quote and clip, starting with this one. First off, they hate-rated the victim's stream in Discord and started accusing them of stuff. I don't know what stuff, but I'd have to guess it was something bad. They purposely take things out of context. I've seen a few clips of this in play, and it's very annoying to have someone try to make something else out of something you say. It's weaponising your words. You could say one thing and all of a sudden mean something else. Even if it doesn't include much, they'll add stuff to it to use against you. It's madness. They target LGBTQ, furries and people with illnesses, which likely means mental illnesses, more than the average Minecraft streamers. This is basically a hate crime towards these groups, and it is pure evil that they go and grief people with mental illnesses. They even have a role called femboys in their server, which validates the statement about LGBTQ being targeted. And you wouldn't need to look too hard to confirm the furry claim, as they got 3 videos about griefing furries. And I've got another clip of proof to show, adding to the claim that they target mentally ill people that will be coming up. And for the last thing mentioned is that they doxed the victim's real life name and their usernames. So not only did they accuse the victim of things, but they also took it to such measures that they felt the need to dox their name too. So they take it to doxing just because the person they were attacking got mad at their attack. The narcissism on 5C's end is off the charts. I also have another clip for later backing up this statement. What I have next is the first interview clip of the video. This is an interview with the YouTuber LynSyren.
Let's see, at the beginning of the year, I believe it was in early January, is when I first encountered the fifth column. It was through a Minecraft server of a friend's that I was in that they hacked into because no kind of safety measures had really been implemented by the server owner. And while on that server, the friend who owns the server made a comment relating to roleplay asking if there was Hitler in Minecraft, to which I didn't respond to at all, and the fifth column decided to target me nonetheless. Harassed me on Twitter, called me racist, anti-Semitic, and then tried to accuse me of being a pedophile for a meme that I sent in my public Discord server directed at no one when I was 16. And they really just kind of, threw everything they had at me, even months afterwards. People who were in their server to just see what was happening would be like, hey, they just sent out a notification to at everyone ping if you do any kind of uploading. I still get comments on the YouTube video that I posted about them 4 months ago. The most recent one was an hour ago. And they at the time they pretty much flooded my DMs with just, saying a lot of horrible things, telling me to kill myself, trying to say that I was pirating software, and just overall proceeded to then spread whatever lies they could on Twitter and do their best to ruin my reputation. They uploaded a video in February 2nd. They uploaded their video with me as the thumbnail, and it did their typical video format of, throwing in I think 4 people ish into the whole thing, and just generally just like you know how it goes with them, where even no kind of reasoning, no kind of rational thought will get through to them. And even on the night of the hate raid, I tried to have a very reasonable conversation with them in their Discord server, and it just simply was it didn't make a difference. Like there's no way to rationally have a conversation with people who believe they are always in the right and that you will always be in the wrong. And so fortunately, I am not too affected by the experience now. I ended up not being doxxed. They seem to try to dox me on Twitter when they just posted information that was kind of already public, like my age, and can't remember if they posted the university I went to. But, once again, kind of public information knowledge already, so I got lucky with that. But, yeah, it's ridiculous that they're still getting away with this. One of their members, Sky, who apparently worked for Mojang and would frequently, unban their accounts and make sure they got away with what they were doing. She kind of fessed up on Twitter and was like, hey, I was part of this awful group, but I'm leaving it now because this is terrible. But it's like even that didn't really make a difference with them. As you can tell, their group is still harassing people, still hate raiding, still creating false allegations, and generally trying to ruin people's lives. And so I think I know I personally haven't filed any kind of federal complaint yet, but I was recently informed that since I was a minor during the time of the harassment and still am, that it's possible I could do that. So that could be something that happens in the future. But it's ridiculous that they're pretty much still being allowed to get away with this, despite people knowing that they're a bad group, yet measures by either Mojang or just anybody who is any position of power, they aren't using that power to get rid of this hate group that Fit MC literally made a video about. People know the fifth column exists, and nothing in reality is being done with it or done about it, to the point where it almost feels kind of ridiculous. Where it's public knowledge that they're a hate group, so people with the power to do anything about it are just but we know it's a hate group, so it's not that bad. It's weird that they've been allowed to continue for so long, but yeah. They said they would try, but after this happened, I didn't really play Minecraft much because the school semester started. So they weren't able to hack any kind of server I was in because I wasn't in any servers. Let's see. Before they joined, it was literally just like Minecraft roleplay for this friend's SMP. The concept was that this friend and another guy were like real people transported into Minecraft, and that the rest of us were existing within Minecraft. And so it was just like constantly failed RPs because this wasn't conceptually explained to us beforehand, but that was what's supposed to be what's happening, and that's literally it. It was just Minecraft. They said that their Copenheimer bot, I think it was, maybe something else, had detected like anti-Semitic symbols, which weren't there. Like, we hadn't even built houses or done anything at that point, so they said we were doing a lot of things, but we weren't. By the time when they joined, we were in a cave. We were in a cave trying to like figure out nether portals. Yeah, that was literally it. When they joined the server, I was very confused because I wasn't sure if this was another unexplained lore thing. But then when the guy running it started freaking out, I realized that something was wrong. And then they pretty much just ran around and started killing people. I quit left the server in the middle of being attacked. And when I came back, was just like, spawned in lava, died instantly. And then we saw more people who shouldn't have been in the server were in the server. So it was very confusing. I am not sure the extent of the griefing in the server because those of us who were playing it quit very quickly. And it was also a very new server. Like, it was made that day. So there wasn't really anything to grief or to destroy because it was brand new.
The people to kill.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of like killed us, and then we quit and we're trying to figure out what was happening. I wish I had VOD footage to show you, but they spammed my chat so much that Twitch removed my VOD and I couldn't recover it. So I only have like little bits of footage of what was happening with that. But yeah, in terms of griefing, we didn't really have much of that and got lucky on that front because there wasn't really anything to grief. Mostly calling me racist. And that was probably the main thing, just kind of along the lines of like, you're racist. Why are you racist? Why are you doing this? Why are you putting Nazi symbols? Which we weren't. Like, anyone who watched the stream could tell that none of that was happening. They follow botted. Let's see, is there anything else in particular that I might have recorded? I'm looking through the YouTube video I made to see if I have any footage of that. Yeah, just kind of like some very just general like hateful sort of spam-ish messages and general harassment like what you would typically see from a hate raid. It was mostly along the lines of just calling me racist. That was a lot. It was the vast majority of messages. It was just me. Not even the server owner. The guy who asked if there was Hitler in Minecraft. They didn't even harass him. Like, he tweeted at them on Twitter, like, at fifth column, come after me. Like, come for me, bro. And they just didn't. It was just me that they went after.
They seem to only go for the streamers, so you can get clips to see.
Yeah, well, so that's probably... I think I theorized in the video I made that that's what it was, where, yeah, the server owner was streaming, but in terms of, like, follower count and viewer count, I was the larger streamer, and so I think that was a major part of why it was me. And, yeah, that was the best reasoning I could come up with. Yes. So they did call me the Arsler. And then when I pointed that out, they promptly, or in DMs, one of the people called me that, and then when I pointed it out, they promptly changed it. DMs a lot more of just calling me racist. Let's see. Can I find DMs? Let's see. I got a couple of people telling me to kill myself. A lot of ones that were just like shame on you, you piece of shit, things like that. Someone sent a gif of the N-word. Let's see. Those were probably like the worst ones. Yeah.
Overall, very thorough explanation of the events. Then I've been doing a roleplay with their friends in which 2 of them were real people teleported in the game, while everyone else were, I'm guessing, sentient NPCs before the 5C started the attack. Starting off with the first bit of evidence, one of the 5th column's reasons for attacking Lynn is a question her friend had asked related to roleplay, which is if Hitler was in Minecraft. Lynn didn't respond to this, but they went after her anyways. They started harassing her on Twitter and calling her racist and many other horrible things. Second thing here is that they called her for a meme she sent targeted at no one on her Discord server at the age of 16. I don't know what meme she had sent, so I can't make a comment on the matter, but whatever it was, they had started going all out and harassing her. The fact that these people take their time to do things like this is disappointing, to put it simple. I'd guess the goal is raising their channel subs, but at the same time you'd think that they're getting paid money by someone other than YouTube. I don't see them making a lot of it with their below 10k view average, and they continued this for months after. She did make a video on it 4 months ago, and despite how long ago she posted it, they still comment things on it. Third thing is the many threatening DMs she had gotten, most telling her to kill herself and accusing her of pirating software. Pretty much told her to end her life while simultaneously accusing her of pirating software. Just in one hand threatening her, making themselves look like the bad people, and then accusing her of a crime, making her look like the bad person. The other things they call her full and debunk their act of being against all racism, homophobia and so on. Fourth mention is a Discord call she had with him, which I will play later on, and the 5th mention is attempting to dox her. She got lucky in her case as they only managed to get information she already had public. Another case of doxing because someone didn't like the attack you made on them, only this time they used public information and failed. Number 6. Behind Mojang's back, Sky would unban 5C griefers to keep up their attacks. She then realised that it was a bad group, probably realised how the victims didn't deserve what happened to them, and told the truth on Twitter. She left the group after this, and to my knowledge is now going against them. 7th mention being is that she was a minor at the time. 5C don't just harass adults with vile accusations and doxing, but they also do that to minors. It's E for everyone out in their place. Remember when I said they turned to hurting children? There you go. This just escalates the offences they made. Accusing a minor of being racist and pirating software to undeservingly ruin their reputation is madness. It would be okay if the person was really doing these things, and you had evidence, but trying to defame them with false accusations just because they didn't like something bad you did to them was just straight up childish in itself. For the 8th, we had the claim for 5C that Copenhagen, their server finding client, had detected anti-Semitic symbols. First of all, how can a scanner for a server IP detect any sort of symbol in the game? What doesn't help your claim as well is that the server was just new and that there was many viewers in the chat who had watched the game and hadn't seen such things. They hadn't even got houses built yet, and the only thing that you could do to wreck the game is spawn killing them, so pardon my French boys, but you're going to have to explain how that works. There would have been something to confirm the absence of supposed symbols, but they mass spammed the chat and got the VOD taken down. So now I'll play the recording taken during the call that I talked about in the 4th mention.
Yo,
The crash was
and maximum.
Okay.
It was pretty cool.
You know, I'm not even gonna deafen.
It was pretty high.
The situation right now, I am being hate rated.
Stop laughing.
I'm being hate rated because I'm being accused of being racist. I am currently having a panic attack, and I am shaking and struggling to breathe properly.
I gotta watch.
I am not on stream. I ended stream because let's see. Can I show the amount of messages? Yes. The amount of messages that I got a bunch of follows. All of a sudden, a lot of these were timed out being called, you know, racist, stuff like that, which, as you guys know, is not true. I don't believe that about anybody. I was getting friend requests from strange people. All of a sudden, was invited into this server called the Fifth Column Public Relations Division.
What?
I got a bunch of messages. Let's see, we got shame. We have I saw you. Only join servers behind VPN. I don't have a VPN. Something about software theft. I think they reported me for software theft.
For this shit now.
Which I'm confused. Oh, wait. Oh, that's what it is.
1, 2.
Someone pointed out I didn't have Windows activated. Someone sent me a link saying this person actually sent me a link saying activate Windows and then said reported for software theft. I see. So I was just framed for software theft. All right, that's great. We're just gonna X that out real quick then.
That's so bro.
That is,
okay.
Bro, I wish.
Amazing. Just activate Windows. Yes, it was that person. Just activate Windows and then reporting me for clicking on the software they sent me. Let's see. Stop being racist. Bigot. This was originally the R slur, by the way, that they changed when I pointed it out. Go kill yourself. I'm so sorry. Don't kill yourself. Maybe, but if you stop being racist now. That's bad of you. Hello, are you racist still?
Yo, can someone
not racist just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm racist. You're a racist. Stop your bigoted actions. Fluffy boy cat. Also, I'm DMing you. It's over now. Random seedless glitches. Harassment. Last message was deleted. Was probably something harassing me. Trying to trick me into saying the N-word. Don't know who that is. Oh wait, I do know who that is. Don't know what that means. And then calling me racist. Racist piece of shit. Coping. Just hi, but they're on the server, so I'm not trusting them. Okay, so I am going to unmute for a second.
I'm heading out.
All right.
Go eat dinner.
Yeah.
No, he's not zen right now.
Wait, you lagged out. Can you say it one more time?
I would like to speak for a minute, please. Preferably uninterrupted.
You don't come yelling into the VC.
Why did you change your nickname, dude?
Lynn, let's see what.
Excuse me. I would like to speak uninterrupted, please, for just a minute.
Go ahead. Okay, let's hear out. Come on.
Okay.
One thing before
yes, thank you for that brief dose of sexism. I appreciate it. I'm not racist. Just because I'm white does not mean I'm racist. I have many friends from a variety of different races. My Discord mods, my Twitch mods, my online friends, my IRL friends could tell you otherwise. Thank you for changing my server nickname. Appreciate that. I'm recording, by the way. I have recorded all of the horrible DMs that you've sent me. Thank you to the person who told me to kill myself. Thank you to the 100 or so people who came onto my stream. Thank you for the anxiety attack that you guys have given me. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you ruined.
Lynn. Please let Lynn say.
Seriously, I'm trying to handle this in a mature way. I'm trying to handle this in a mature fashion, and you all are not taking any of this seriously.
Oh my god.
You're treating her in an unreasonably hostile way, so she's going to be hostile back. That's just how
I am speaking in a very calm manner. You all are yelling at me.
You're literally so hostile right now. What do we do to you?
Dude, look at Jenny.
You're overreacting. You're way too emotional.
Hold on.
In auto logs, it said you updated your username.
Wait, so she actually changed her name?
We genuinely do not have perks.
Wait, let me check.
Oh my god.
Holy shit!
Wow.
I am going to leave now. I am going to go say hi to my family, who I haven't seen in a couple days.
Your white family and your white house.
I am going to report a variety of people. Also, thanks for trying to hate raid my Discord server. You know, that totally wasn't stressful.
I'm sorry, but I feel you gotta calm down. Okay, you're being a bit emotional right now. Calm down. All right.
I'm not. I'm speaking in an even tone.
You were literally just screaming.
You were screaming like a minute ago.
I think you need to do some breathing exercises.
If you think that they're being a bit too loud, if you think they're being a bit too loud,
you need to actually calm down. Honestly.
Would you let me speak then?
Alright, let's see. Alright, no, everyone. Alright, let her speak. Come on. Alright, what am I saying?
Can I talk real quick?
Nah, one second. Let her hear it out. Okay. Let's hear it.
Me or Lynn?
The stage is yours. Now Lynn.
Okay. I'm not racist. Just because I'm white doesn't mean I'm racist.
Not racist, but.
Okay. Thanks for that, I guess.
Do some breathing exercises. Ready?
All right, let's hear
whiskey
it. Come
dip
on,
in
can you
general.
guys stop interrupting her? Oh my god.
Seriously, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
I'll mute everyone who talks right now. Jesus.
Thank you. I do not appreciate the hateful DMs, and though I do agree that things like racism and homophobia and sexism and all that are a big issue, but I don't believe that sending people hateful messages and harassing them on live stream and online is the appropriate way to do it. I'm going to leave this VC. I am going to handle this offline.
Hateful?
Yes.
I'm sorry. When was anyone hateful here?
Yeah, when did we raid you hatefully?
Why
do you condone
so many people. Okay, I can give you the numbers. So I started off stream with about 708 followers. I currently have 784.
Nice.
From the amount of fake accounts that just followed me out of the blue right after you guys joined. Though it might not be you guys, it is still a bot following, mass following, whatever it is. And, you know, I'm not going to do much about it right now, but I don't appreciate being called racist in my chat while I'm live. I don't appreciate the DMs telling me to kill myself, calling me the R slur, and trying to trick me into saying the N-word.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, well, when you do bigoted stuff like that on stream, you're kind of asking for that from people.
I mean, you have a community like that.
But I mean, I'm sure people viewing were pretty disturbed. I mean, they probably felt the need to, you know, make their voice heard, however that may be. I mean, I don't condone that, but I mean, you kind of...
Isn't that fitting your community, though?
No, my community is very diverse.
Can I talk real quick?
But it's pretty edgy, you have to
admit. Yeah, go ahead, Stay.
I don't know. Can you?
That's why.
Honestly, can you? How do you know?
I don't. Yeah, that's a great question.
Are you non-verbal? I mean,
I just have a. That's a
one
great
second.
question.
Let's hear out. Let's hear out. 1 second. I'm sorry. And then.
Yes.
You may continue. Sorry.
I mean, I really think that was the gist of it. I don't hate you guys, but I don't think your methods or the methods of whatever people associated with you are the best. So that's really all I just wanted to say. And that I would prefer if my peace and just being with my community and, you know, my public figure wasn't trying to be stained like this, because I do have a personal life. And it would be a bit of an issue if these lies spilled over into my personal life and affected things like college, relations with my family, with my friends.
Whoa. You're taking this too far.
I'm not.
No justice, no peace.
You don't have any friends.
Well, you can just apologize and we can end this here.
I don't have anything to apologize about because you are lying.
Well, then I don't know what else we can do for you. I mean, you're in an audience of people that witnessed you playing a bigoted server on stream, talking about Adolf Hitler on stream. I mean, if you want to address that now and apologize.
My ancestors are Polish. They fucking died to Hitler.
Well, they would be very disappointed in you for talking about Hitler in the way that you did.
Well, how would they die if you're alive?
Because there's like multiple ancestors. I'm also like English and Irish and Scottish.
Okay,
but
me too.
You are not your ancestors.
Oh yeah, before
I'm going to go now. I'm not going to waste any more of my time on this.
I mean, well, seriously though, no. What would they think? What would they think of?
You cannot reason with these people. I cannot reason with these people. There's nothing I can do to reason with them. They're really saying you don't stop, you don't know how your words affect others. You guys don't know how you're affecting me. Have you considered that? I don't even know what that number is. If that's my IP, then I'm gonna lose it. So I'm torn about staying in the server or leaving it, but that's my recording of the stuff I'm having to deal with, because they said they will probably come out with the YouTube video about this, editing it to make us look racist. So in case I need to post an apology. I also do know someone in that VC was saying the N-word. I don't know who. I also know that there's a lot of pings here. I can't see them because it's an 18 or older plus. My Discord server, or my Discord profile is actually my real name. Or, not my real name. My real age. So I can't see the pings. But, yeah. That's what happened.
And not mine. When I am the owner of the server, I'm the one who created the SS.
I just want to see what they were doing. Let's see what he was streaming. Yeah, so in case I ever need to use this recording, I guess. We got that. Man. Talking down to me like that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I genuinely cannot believe that this is the way it's everything is being handled.
So completely horrible stuff right there. They'd sent her multiple messages accusing her of being racist and reportedly called her the R slur, which was edited shortly after the bigot. You also have someone sending her a picture of the N-word, hard R, while at the same time calling her racist and even sending her a picture of get mogged. And to top it off, they told her to kill herself. It's a stupid action to call someone a racist right after sending them the N-word. It's like assaulting someone and then telling them you assault people. It's completely brainless. And if you're trying to convince people that Lynn is racist while at the same time calling her a racial slur, then you must be high on crack. Not only the racial slur, but you got another person calling her a derogatory term and changing it right after. So if you had to change it that quick, it obviously means that you meant it as in saying that she had this disability, so you're attacking this girl while at the same time showing that you also have a hate towards disabled people. Continuing on with the clip, Lynn unmutes herself and tries to make it clear with a group of man-children that she isn't racist, while in the background they interrupt her and laugh. Then they decide to change the server name to a completely racist statement, and ask why she had changed her name to that. Even while she had told them that she recorded what they did, they still accused her of the name change. Even had the cheek to use the Vine Boom soundboard while she was talking. A little bit more of interrupting goes on and you can hear someone yell this at her.
Any of this seriously.
Oh my god.
Isn't the fifth supposed to be against swears? I mean, with their most recent video, it sure seems that way. The next few minutes of the video consist of these people saying that Lynn is yelling at them and needs to do breathing exercises and telling her to calm down using manipulative tactics to her emotions and trying to make her freak out. After Lynn said a big majority of what she wanted to say, she was interrupted by LGBTQI+ ally in regards to her saying that the DMs she got were hateful. They had questioned her how the raid was hateful, when beforehand you had the gay calling her racist and the many other messages of accusations and kill yourselves. Lynn brings up the botfalls that she had gotten from the fifth after they raided her stream, while at the same time they jokingly congratulate her. Having bots follow your accounts, either if you had done it yourself or not, can lead to your account getting banned, which means while they were raiding her, they had made an attempt to get her channel removed. So in terms of that question you asked Gally, you were hate raiding her. Now after she expressed how she didn't like the accusations she received, Tristan Gosselin Hayen, who is actually Bezopassing, again mentions that she had done bigoted stuff on her stream and that the people watching were disturbed. One of the members then stated after a bit of talking when she had mentioned how she didn't want these fake accusations to roll into her personal life, that she was taking it too far, and even had someone say that she had no friends, which among the other statements just goes to show how much ignorance that is in this community of people. Now after saying that she doesn't have to apologise for things she didn't do, Bezo then goes on a rant about how Lynn was on stream talking about Adolf Hitler, to which Lynn answers that her ancestors were Polish and had lost their lives because of Hitler. Bezo then makes an opportunity to insult Lynn, saying that her ancestors will be disappointed, talking about Hitler the way she is. And even more disgusting is how someone asked, how would they die if you're alive? They take the chance to make jokes about someone's ancestors who happen to be victims of a horrific event. You're joking about a massive racially and religiously motivated genocide, and yet here you are calling this girl racist. It's basically the pot and the kettle here. Now the topping of the cake is at the end when someone called Fingy had sent her an IP address followed by I like your house also. This info wasn't real, but that right there is threatening someone with a dox. The fact that you have these grown men doing stuff like this to a 17-year-old and trying to ruin her image is absolutely criminal. And one last thing I'm after finding out at the time of making this video is that 5C members and fans have started making rude comments towards what Lynn identifies as, along with one person even stating that non-binary is not an option. For the next one, this is an interview with the Twitch streamer known as RumPrincess92.
Alright, so I am Rummy, Rum Princess. Everyone just kind of calls me Rummy. Always go by my gamer tag, never kind of give out any personal information because, you know, internet safety. I'm a wide variety streamer. Play everything from like Call of Duty, to Power World, to Minecraft, to horror games. Very wide range of content. Yeah. So I have a very wonderful community. We've been streaming now for like 2 years. It's always been like real laid back, real fun. Everyone's super friendly. I've been streaming for 2 years, and up until I think it was February, March. Never had any problems. Everyone who came into my stream was always great. We always had a great time. Never been griefed for anything ever. We do a lot of community games to where we set up like a server on Minecraft for everyone to kind of join in and play together just to be as one big happy group. It's almost like a family. Yeah, so when we got hit by 5C, it was very unexpected, to say the least. So, it was very awkward at first. Usually I have a very wide audience. I have a bunch of random people that pop in all the time. So at first I didn't really think anything of it. I'd seen the name pop up once or twice before in my chat. They've been in the streams for 1 or 2 times. I was back on my Minecraft kick again. So, you know, as soon as they picked up on that, you know, they seen it as an opportunity. They got into my Discord. Through my Discord, they were able to get into the server. And we were just kind of flying around my area, kind of showing different things. And then I noticed some lava. And I was like, well, that's weird because no one that's in our server ever does anything like that. So it was very alarming at first, but it was just weird for me because it was something that like it never happened. So I was kind of like, okay, well, thankfully we have security set in place, depending on the area that you're in, what the person who owns that area allows to occur in your designated space. It's kind of like a prevention method for if anything like that were to ever happen. And thankfully, out of the 400 hours that I've put into we call it the Rumpire, because it's where I build all my things, they weren't able to actually destroy anything on my end. They just kind of put a wall of lava up around the area because they couldn't actually get into it. And I just had the owner of my server. I was like, hey, here's the deal. We're going to shut it down. And I just need you to roll everything back so we could just kind of erase this and kind of move on. But it all happened very quickly. And then everything just started escalating very fast. So it was rough. Yeah, they ended up actually getting very vulgar in the chat, and that's something that was very unusual for my streams. Because again, I have a very laid back, very tight knit, like very close community. I pretty much have somewhat of a personal relationship with everybody, and that's a regular in my stream. So when they started saying the weird things that they were saying, they came in starting on like Alcoholics Anonymous and things like that. And they actually got into my Discord. And at that particular time, I was in one of my open parties, and I did have a couple of mods in there, plus just people in my community itself. Like no one who actually has any kind of major role in my streams. Like they come to hang out and chat and just play the game together. And they started verbally attacking a dear friend of mine. She does have mental handicaps. She is autistic, fantastic mother to her child. And they started coming after her saying that she abuses her daughter, that she beats her kid, and all this other stuff. Because she started trying to come to my defense. Because once I realized what was going on, I had left the public chat and went into one of my private chats so that me and my mods could try to get things to stop. We were trying to ban people as they were coming in and saying things, and it escalated very quickly when it came to what they were saying to my friend. And it's actually why the attacks continued, was because I didn't give them the reaction that they wanted from me. I didn't freak out. She, however, did. And they continued the attacks on my stream for almost 2 months. It was almost impossible for me to stream anything, like, just not Minecraft was one thing, because once I figured out what was going on and who they were, I was like, okay, so they kind of just usually attack Minecraft players. So if I just get off Minecraft for a while, we'll be okay. And it didn't stop. It didn't matter what game I was playing, Call of Duty, Fortnite, Out World, like anytime I was going live, they were constantly coming in and trying to get that reaction from me. And it was a nightmare. It really was. Oh, they were calling me a bigot, which if anybody, actually knows me, they know that's 100% not who I am at all. My community is very diverse as far as, just the people themselves in it. They were calling me an alcoholic. They went as far as to finding my personal TikTok that I had at the time, learning my government name, and got onto my Facebook and learned all kinds of information about me, and were coming after my daughter. They were using my daughter's name, saying that I was abusive, an alcoholic, a drug addict, just anything that they could to get me to have some kind of a freak out reaction, which they never got from me. But some of the stuff, like, I don't even like repeating what they were saying, because it was disgusting. I know one of the ones the more milder ones that I remember was Rummy Sloppy Seconds, and they just kind of took that route for a while. I mean, pretty much anything you can think of, they were coming out with it. It was bad. Things kind of stopped. It probably took 2 months of me and my staff staying on top of things. At one point, they hit me with almost 3,000 follows, with bot follows, trying to get my channel shut down. But I have an amazing staff and a wonderful team, and as fast as they were coming in was as fast as we were kicking them out. And once they realized that they weren't going to get any kind of major reaction out of me for me to, freak out, lose my mind. Like a lot of videos that they have on YouTube of other people that they griefed, it's, these people were screaming and yelling, and I was not going to give them that reaction. Like, I stayed pretty cool, calm, collected, and was like, look, you guys can keep doing this all you want. I have the team in place. Go ahead and try, but you're never going to get anywhere, and you're not going to get any kind of reaction out of me. I will very quickly suck the fun out of this, and I will continue to do what I do. We almost turned it into a game, like, oh, there's another one, get them. Like, and it took a while, because it was very frustrating and very overwhelming. If things got way out of hand, I was like, all right, guys, look, I love you all to pieces, but I'm going to end the stream so we can, handle this business. I said, we'll be back tomorrow. Keep an eye out in the Discord. I'll let you know what's going on. And just kind of, we spaced out the streams from there. So that way I didn't give them any real reason to keep coming after me. It was the most pain in the ass thing I think I've ever had to deal with. And they even tried going as far as to finding other people's on my staff and getting into their Discords and trying to cause grief across the board for a bunch of my friends. But we very quickly shut them down as far as not being able to get to anybody in my community. Yeah. Which makes no sense to me, because like I said about my community, I have a very widespread community. A lot of my followers are members of the LGBTQ plus community themselves. I don't personally have a problem with anybody. I love all people just the way you are. Your orientation has nothing to do with anything when it comes to you hanging out in my streams. Like, so it made no sense to me, because I don't even use like derogatory terms in my streams. Like, it really made no sense to me at all how they would try to figure it, like, come after me for that, and I'm like, "You are, like, way off the ball, like, no." A couple of times. It got really bad for a while. I think after the second time, I just kinda was like, "Look, guys, we're gonna take a break. There's not gonna be a stream, for, like, the next week or so," 'cause it got bad. It got to the point with the Minecraft server that we pretty much had to shut it down almost completely. They kept coming in and trying to, like, they kept trying to come in and destroy everything, which it just got to the point with everybody that we're just like, "All right, look, we're gonna put a stop to this for now." They were getting around every security that I had on my stream to block what they were doing. So, through some investigating, we kind of figured out that they had somehow gained access to my IP, and it basically went back to, like, a full reset and, some even major changes just on the technology on my end of things from home. I had to really beef up security and, yeah, it was pretty detrimental there for a while.
So the first thing in the clip, other than the griefing, was that the fifth were getting vulgar in the chat. Now I've taken a look at one of Rum Princess's streams and I've seen that it was intended for older audiences, but looked through it and didn't see mention of vulgar statements as Rum Princess had stated as unusual to see. Bringing up these kind of things in the chat that doesn't mention them is weird and uncomfortable to the streamer and their viewers. Second thing is that when the fifth joined Rummy's Discord server, they had started insulting our friend who is a mother of a daughter and has autism. They were accusing her of abusing and beating her daughter, even though, as Rummy states, she is a fantastic mother to her daughter. And they kept coming back to attack Rum's streams and server, not to harass her, but to harass her friend, and it got heated when it came to the insults they were saying to her. Rummy's friend didn't react well to these statements and freaked out, and they kept coming back for near 2 months to annoy this girl just because of the reaction she gave. They attacked an autistic girl because she came to the defense of her friend. No normal person will continue on with this kind of hatred. What's more sickening is that Bezopazin, who I had explained to be one of the main griefers, one of the main leash pets to the bigoted world of the fifth column, had joined the chat and asked the girl, who I had found in the making of this video to be called La Galeria Devils Oceana, if she was his little devil or little angel, making fun of her username. Quick thing from the clip of Rummy's griefing on the 5C video, Bezopazin, who had joined to grief the game, started accusing Rummy inside her Discord server of being an alcoholic, while a second player who couldn't get on the game was confronting him. Bezo here had asked the guy why he was defending an alcoholic, another example of complete narcissism and random accusations that 5C members send. I can tell he had thought of that through Rum's name. Calling someone an alcoholic because of the mention of Rum in their username doesn't make them an alcoholic. And Devils Oceana had said that Rum Princess's name originated from her liking of Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, back to the interview clip. Third action mentioned in the clip is 5C finding Rum's government name. They had searched viciously through the internet until they found her personal TikTok and continued to search for more info through her Facebook. And it was through one of these sources that they found out her daughter's name. And would you be able to guess what they did next? They accused her of abusing her daughter, typical degeneracy. Alongside that, they kept calling her an alcoholic and had called her a drug addict. The fourth thing said here is that the fifth bot followed Rum Princess with almost 3,000 followers. As she stated, it was an attempt to try to get her banned. And for the fifth thing mentioned, they had tried to go after Rum's other staff and friends. I find it funny how you can't get a reaction out of an individual so you attack their friends and associates. Real weird stuff you did. Second thing here is the fact that she was called derogatory, racist and homophobic terms. Now it wasn't mentioned what specific things were said, but accordingly there was stuff like these being said in insults. Now I asked if she had any more encounters with doxes, and she had mentioned a second dox happening in which she had to stop streaming for a week. They had kept coming back to harass her and getting past her security, and because of that, Rum Princess had to do a full reset and major tweaking to her internet to raise her security. And for the last clip of the video, which I've put last as I think it's the worst instance of what the fifth column have done so far, I got the story from a YouTuber and Twitch streamer named UnfriendlyFire. UnfriendlyFire was streaming on his Minecraft server when Bezopazin to join the game. The server was supposed to be whitelisted, but according to the clip, Unfriendly's whitelist wasn't working at that time. Bezo would actually join twice under one of his different aliases, which goes by Dr. Enderpickles, and they made change from after he got spawn trapped in 2B2T. It was under this account that he managed to kill Unfriendly, but Unfriendly quickly banned Bezo's ult after the attack. In the video they put up a counter of an insult that Unfriendly was repeating, After he got banned, Bezo and his group started harassing Unfriendly in the chat and telling him to go to VC while Unfriendly was calling them parentless and poor. Sometimes retaliating with insults to a narcissistic group like 5C is not the right way to deal with it. But I have to give it to Unfriendly here, those were the truest words spoken. Now the clip ends before any of the worst stuff comes up. It isn't just Bezo on those two accounts joining either. On the day of this recording, 14 griefers had joined, including Bezo's main and alt, as well as another alt which just goes by Bezo with a 0 ending it. I'll now play the clip. It isn't really an interview clip, but it's more like a discussion, so I will just play a small portion of the clip as Unfriendly says the whole account at the start.
My name is UnfriendlyFire on YouTube and UnfriendlyFire TV on Twitch. I was hacked a few weeks ago where my server was invaded along with my Shockbite account being hacked. My Twitter account was nearly hacked into. My phone was also spam called, so they spammed my phone call as well. They also revealed passwords of those accounts, and they also created an alt account where they used a government photo of me and then named it under my full legal name and started making defamatory and slanderous comments while impersonating me.
First action that Unfriendly mentions is that his Shockbite account got hacked. For those of you who don't know what Shockbite is, it's a server hosting platform for games like Minecraft, Palworld, Ark Survival Revolved, Rust and more. The problem with them hacking into his account is that this is a paid server hosting platform, so they're essentially robbing him of something he paid money for. Depending on what subscription option he's chose and how long he's been with Shockbite, they attempted to steal an account that potentially had a lot of money spent on it. Second action mentioned was the attempted hacking of his Twitter account. If they had gotten access to that, they would have been able to send any sort of hateful, racist or homophobic remark, since this is his actual Twitter. People who aren't friends with him would blame him for something that was sent by someone else under his account. Third action is Unfriendly's phone being spam called. With this, they're basically just harassing this man into changing his phone number and go through the hassle of having all of his contacts change his info to the new number. Imagine if he had about 50 contacts on there and he had to change his phone number. You would have to go through call to call just to make sure everyone has your phone number. So the fourth thing mentioned is the leaking of the previous account's passwords. So not only would you have the fifth column trying to hack into your Twitter and impersonate you, but you would also have their fan base and random people trying to do it. Who knows what these people will send, some of them may even hold the account for ransom. And the final action mentioned in this clip is the alt account they made. So I had assumed that they would try to impersonate Unfriendly if they'd gotten into his Twitter account, and this is the reason why I think that. They used his government photo as a profile picture and named the account after his full real life name to defame him with potentially offensive comments. So not only did you grief this man's game, you decided to hack his accounts, leak the passwords, find his government name and photo and impersonate him with the two. Now, outside of what Unfriendly says, I've discovered that the fifth column turned his government photo into a Discord emote, even naming it after his first name. Now, you can actually pay money to use this emote in other servers so they can make money off this too. Not only is all of this absolutely disgusting, it's also highly illegal. You've just posted a docs in a Discord server that users can pay to use in other servers. Right, so that's all the current evidence we have from the victims I was able to get in contact with. I will post updates if any more surface. So in this section I'm going to discuss how bad the fifth's actions were and give my thoughts about them. So first, going in the order I mentioned them in. 5C sent NSFW links to the anonymous victims' Discord servers that could have minors. So what they've done here is that they violated laws regarding the distribution of adult material, especially if minors are involved. The servers that they sent these links in, to my knowledge, don't have NSFW channels, which violates Discord's guidelines. DDoSing is illegal even on Minecraft servers, as it's considered a form of cybercrime. It will also cause financial and reputational damage to the server owners. Raiding the servers because they're LGBTQ, furries or someone with a disability is considered a hate crime, and oblivious to the people over at the fifth column leads to criminal charges. Doxing in general is considered a form of harassment and is illegal. Falsely accusing someone of being racist is considered defamation and harassment. Same goes for the political accusations. So when telling someone to kill themselves, you're encouraging suicide. Doing it repeatedly is harassment and cyberbullying. Once again, this is an act of defamation and harassment. Another dox that luckily failed, but it's still a dox attempt, so it's another harassment case. The two slurs said both fall under hate speech and harassment. So both of these fall under hate speech and harassment as well, considering that Lynn is also a minor at this time. Cyberbullying also applies. The fifth column had attempted to get Lynn banned by mass following her with bots. This falls under harassment and is also a cybercrime. Add the fact that most platforms have policies against that. So right off the bat, this is harassment and a hate crime, coupled with the fact that they accused her of supporting Adolf Hitler in an effort to defame her. What they try to do also goes against Discord's community guidelines against hate speech and harassment. Lynn had received an IP address from someone called Fingy. Although it's fake, this goes under harassment as it's an attempt to intimidate Lynn as well as falling under cyberbullying. Because they are doing this for malicious intent, this would fall under harassment as well as violating Twitch guidelines. These fall under harassment, defamation, and as a hate crime. This falls under harassment and defamation and is an attempt to ruin Rum's image. A false child abuse accusation and dox, which leads to harassment and defamation. An attempt to get Rum Princess banned falls under harassment, breaks platform policies, and is a cybercrime. This action falls under not just normal harassment, but extended harassment as well as cyberbullying. This falls under unauthorized access, privacy violations, and goes against the platform's policies. This falls under cybercrime regardless of the reason. This action falls under harassment and can be named a nuisance call. Sharing someone's passwords without their consent is a violation of privacy. So this falls under quite a few charges, those being privacy violation, harassment, defamation, impersonation, misuse of private information, unjust enrichment and fraud. Why I've included fraud here is that the many fans who think they're doing good when in actuality they're harassing people for content. So they're deceiving others for financial gain. So that is a lot of crimes I've listed from these people. Keep in mind that they are a Minecraft griefing group doing all this as well. I find it insane how you once have to pick on the smaller streamers instead of the bigger people, taking out on people who aren't as professional instead of, let's say, Schlatt. I'm sitting here voicing this and wondering, how much are these people bullied? What happened to them that brought them into harassing other people and making up for their own embarrassment? A lot of your crew originated from 2B2T. You're going to comment in the video and tell me that you decided to do all these crimes over Minecraft. All of the people listed here are enjoying their games. Do you have some serious hatred towards people having fun? Plus you even have to bring other people into the voice call so you can't get clowned on easy. I imagine Bezopaz enjoying the call with the victim solo and getting absolutely flamed. I get how you can't go in by yourself considering the fact that you sound majorly emo and in the phase of wearing fully black clothes and eye makeup. Couple that with the fact that you're the only American in the group and sound more constipated than the other members. This group is trying to be a force to be reckoned with. They are trying to become the UTTP. You will not go through with these actions and get away with it. You will face downfall. Some of the victims appear to be getting harassed still though. They had griefed another server a few weeks ago and one of the members had used the emote of unfriendly. Lynn made a video discussing them, but the fifth got offended and started sending their members to leave negative comments on it. I wish luck to the victims included in this video, and a big thanks to them for giving their side to the story. And for the people watching, thanks for sitting to this part. I will be posting any updates that come by, and I hope I send a message to those who are unaware that this group have done many bad things, and that will make them face consequences for doing these things. One last notice, this video is intended to discuss important info and confront, not intended for cyberbullying against the offenders. Hope you enjoyed, take care, and I will see you next time.